Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Jiffy ice auger. This is an older Model 30. These were the good ones. These are built solid. The particular model here of the engine is a Tecumseh AV520. Pretty simple little motor. Again, very durable. And they don't get a lot of use, so they last pretty long. I mean, you drill some holes over the course of the winter and then you put it away for the summer. That's it. And usually what we see is the carburetor needs a new kit in it, new metering diaphragm. I mean, they're rarely ever dirty on the inside. They just need a little TLC. So one thing about this carburetor is it's one of the very few carburetors I'm aware of where you stack the metering diaphragm and the metering diaphragm gasket backwards from what you normally would on any other carburetor found on a two-cycle engine. So you'll see here that that gasket is actually between the diaphragm and the cover. Kind of stuck on there too. See the gasket on top? Kind of over exaggerating it here, but the gasket is on the top of the diaphragm, and that's the way it needs to be put back together. Here's your needle. Now to get that needle holder out of there, you're going to need an 8mm or a 5/16 socket with a very, very thin wall on it. I took this Deepwell Craftsman 6-point and I ground it so that it was very narrow on the end. And that's the only way you can get in there decent to turn this. Let's see, I guess that would be the seat holder. There's a spring, there's the needle. Here's our new carb kit. Official, genuine Tecumseh Power carb kit. Now inside of that seat holder, I guess we can call it, is a little rubber seat. There's a hook on the end of this special tool. You can just reach in and grab that rubber seat and pull it right out. There it is. Alright, now inside of our kit we're going to find obviously a metering diaphragm, but also some Welch plugs and a new seat holder and seat and spring and needle. So the other end of our special tool has got a little dimple on it where you can load the new rubber seat, and if it's got a ridge in the end of it, put that ridge in first so that the needle isn't pushing against the side of the ridge. Here's our new holder, and if it doesn't want to go in there, you can put a little bit of oil or something on it and push it in there. Our needle, a gasket over the seat holder, and our spring, and we'll just push it right back into the carb. Now if you were going to clean the passageways behind the high and low speed adjustment screws, then you would want to do that before you put this back together. A little bit of gasket to scrape off of this cover, not bad. You can see that there's a big disc on one side of that metering diaphragm that goes down towards the needle. And again, the diaphragm first, the gasket second, and then the cover. Now that plastic fitting on the bottom of the cover, that will hook up to the primer bulb line. And all that happens is when you push the primer bulb, it pushes air into the line and raises that metering diaphragm and pushes the needle open and floods the carburetor a little bit. That's how that primer works. You're not physically pushing fuel with the primer. You're pushing air and lifting the metering diaphragm, which then holds the needle open and floods. Now I see they sell these carburetors on Amazon and eBay for dirt cheap. I haven't tried one yet, so I don't know how good they are. When you reinstall this carburetor, make sure that you're careful about that governor vane that was on the top of it and get that pushed up in alongside the flywheel without bending or damaging it. Right now I'm hooking up the spring that goes from that vane to the throttle control. You'll see that a little closer here. When you pull the throttle open, it pulls on that spring, which pulls on the vane and the throttle plate. Then the movement of air over the vane controls how far that throttle plate is going to be able to open. And that's your governor. A couple of 7/16 sized nuts to hold this down. And again, here is our primer bulb assembly. Just for visual purposes, I'll put a gauge on here so you can see how this works. When you push the button, you get a little bit of air in there. So repeated pushing of the button. I think they say 3 times when it's like above 50 degrees and 5 times when it's less than that. So if you're out on the lake and this thing's been sitting on the ice, give that thing a good 5 pumps. And there is a choke lever. You can see it in the picture right now. It's just to the bottom side of that intake flange there on the carburetor. The choke is closed right now in that position. Alright, we're going to cut a new fuel line for this and put it on. And the tank just hangs on the flywheel shroud. Easy on and off. I mean, if you're not draining the fuel out of these things at the end of the season, you got no excuse not to. 25 to 1 in here. Don't be putting 50 to 1 in unless you like living on the edge, I guess. I mean, they say the new synthetic oils will handle it, but I'd like to use the new synthetic oils on the proper ratio with canned fuel. It works pretty good. Now you're going to notice when I go to start this thing that the auger is going to be turning. And that's because there's a broken clutch spring on it right now. I don't realize this when I first try to start it. And having that auger trying to turn really makes it hard to start. So what you won't see in this video after you've seen the initial running is that I actually split the transmission and put a new clutch spring in it. I should stand corrected. I put a used clutch spring in it because you have to buy a whole clutch and springs just to get a spring. We happen to have a used one laying around, so that's what I put in there. So that's all I got for you on the Jiffy Model 30 Ice Auger Carb rebuild. Thanks for watching. Later.